Today in the United States, there are more than 1.2 million people living with the human immunodeficiency virus, commonly known as HIV. Miami has emerged as the center of this epidemic. In the last 10 years, the number of new HIV diagnoses in Miami-Dade County has increased by 23%. Tonight, we'll introduce you to the community groups and the individual heroes that are on the front lines fighting this disease that is so often stigmatized and misunderstood. You'll also hear directly from a local HIV survivor who defies the misconceptions about this disease. All that and more coming up on this special edition of UMTV News.
HIV is not a new problem. For many years, it was a disease characterized not only by extreme social stigma, but also by crippling illness and death. HIV targets the immune system and, if not treated on time, can lead to AIDS. But new treatments available today have transformed the virus from a death sentence to something much more manageable.
HIV started in the 1980s. We weren't sure what it was or what type of infection it was. HIV became a very big problem. It affected over 17 million people. A lot of those people died because there wasn't a lot of medication out there to treat HIV and AIDS.
HIV is a chronic disease that can only be treated once one is tested. Here at the University of Miami, UAID brings awareness by offering students free HIV testing.
These organizations represent different preventative methods of HIV and AIDS, and also we have free testing, but you cannot just get free testing. First you have to talk to us and we'll explain to you what's going on, we'll explain our educative part, and then you'll get the free testing.
However, UAID doesn't just give free testing to bring awareness.
We also have things that we're giving out like condoms, and we also have things for safe sex and consent. So it's not just HIV testing.
The biggest thing with HIV is to catch it early. The people who are at high risk for this disease should be checked regularly. So when it is caught, it's caught early, and we can treat it, and more than likely they'll die from something else but not from HIV.
To fully understand the effects of HIV, you have to put a face to the disease. This week, I spoke with an HIV survivor. His name is Julian Daimel, and his story defies many misconceptions. Are you comfortable sharing how you contracted HIV?
Yeah, I have no problem with it. It was on a party, a birthday party of a friend of mine. I went there, I drank a little bit too much, and they put something in my drink, some of his friends. And yeah, it was kind of a rape. And on the next day, they said, haha, now you got it too. But I was so embarrassed and didn't want it to go to the hospital, so I kept it for me and just left home and didn't talk about it at all.
So you knew that there was a chance that you had HIV and you didn't go?
But I didn't go, and I didn't want to talk about it or think about it.
When it finally sunk in, that diagnosis, what did you feel?
A little bit disgusted. When I saw my blood, I thought, oh, that's so disgusting. Oh no, it's so dangerous now. And the nurse there in the hospital didn't help. She had this big folder with everything on it, and I think it's still a little bit discriminative. Like to have this red dot there where they write on it, really big, HIV positive. So she was getting the folder, she had her gloves on, checked the folder, sees this red dot, and says, oh, HIV positive. And put another pair of gloves inside, on her hands. And the doctor's coming, she didn't even touch me.
There are a lot of misconceptions about HIV out there. You mentioned that people can be scared of you.
Yeah.
Even. What do you want people to know about this disease?
That's not a diagnosis that you are dying, like in the 80s. And when you are on your medication, it's always fine.
There are a lot of people out there right now that could have HIV but are afraid to get tested. What's your message to those people?
just get tested. Yes, it's a shock first when you get tested positive, but you can live a completely normal life. I'm happy. I got my boyfriend and I live with him a happy life.
Getting tested is one of the easiest things you could do to help protect yourself and others from HIV. One group in South Florida is working hard to start a conversation about the virus with a fun and sexy twist.
Impulse Group is a nonprofit group comprised of 100% volunteers, typically of the young gay demographic. So our goal is to create comfortable environments where people can come and have meaningful discussions about HIV. What we've found is that traditional methods of educating hasn't been too effective. Miami-Dade County and Broward County is actually ranked the top counties in the United States for new HIV infections. So many people assume that they know about their HIV status without actually getting tested. So get tested and get tested often. An HIV positive diagnosis is not something to be ashamed of. You can still live an empowered and fulfilled life regardless of your status.
Knowing your status is something that Impulse Group strongly encourages. In fact, they host a free testing van outside of most of their events.
One thing that I hope people, take away from each Impulse event is you can have safe sex, you can have fun sex, you can have any type of sex. You just have to be educated on how to have that kind of sex. We set up these events, we serve cocktails, we put out imagery. It's so you ask questions. So I hope you just learn something from each event.
But the guests attending Impulse's events aren't the only ones learning something and being helped.
Impulse gave me an outlet to help others and to help myself. I wanted to make a difference instead of just going out for no reason and partying. I wanted to party with a purpose. And I feel like that's kind of what we're about. We like to show others that you can have fun while still protecting yourself. You don't have to be scared. That's what I take away from Impulse. There's always a way to deal with what you're going through.
One of the things that consistently amazes me is that there's a group of young gay men who actually care about talking about a topic and subject that is considered to be taboo, with the ultimate goal of just helping a fellow human being. As long as we've taught them one thing that they may not have known before they got there, then we're going to continue to do what we do.
The battle against HIV is a group effort here in South Florida, but some individuals have an especially important role in that process. I spoke to one community leader whose passion helps fuel the fight for a cure. There is no denying that HIV is a health epidemic here in South Florida, but Jonathan Welsh is determined to not let the disease win.
Our whole area right now is HIV ground zero. So it's important for us as a community to address that.
For the past decade, Welsh has been actively involved in local efforts fighting HIV. Today, he works at Care Resource, a federally qualified health center that gives medical care to those most in need here in South Florida. As the company's Director of Marketing and Development, Welsh spearheads community efforts and fundraisers against HIV. One of those events is the annual Miami AIDS Walk, with proceeds going towards the search for a cure.
It's a testament to what can happen when community comes together over an important cause. Like last year, we were able to raise $260,000.
Since Care Resource opened its doors in 1984, HIV has become more manageable for those diagnosed. But Welsh still believes the battle is far from over.
I feel one has to be committed to the very end, no matter what it is. We owe it to all the people that came before us to carry that torch, so that there is indeed a cure.
Welsh's co-workers also appreciate his passion to fight the disease.
That relationship to what we do, the relationship to what the mission and vision is, and I think that when the staff is committed to doing that, that makes it a much more nicer environment.
Despite his obvious success as a leader in the South Florida fight against HIV, Welsh remains humble.
It's not something that I do or Care Resource does. Really, all we do is channel the natural energy that is in the community.
As HIV treatments continue to improve, Welsh hopes that Miami can be known for more than the disease.
Tourism, restaurant, culture, art, so much more than HIV/AIDS.
Thanks to dedicated individuals like Welsh, such a future does not seem so far away.
The fight against HIV is far from over, but with the help of modern medicine,
and the hard work of groups like Impulse.
And activists like Jonathan Welsh.
People living with HIV like Julian Daimel have more hope than ever for the future.
There's still much more that needs to be done. If you'd like to get involved in the fight against HIV and AIDS in South Florida, you can sign up to volunteer for Impulse today. Just visit their website at www.impulsegrp.org.
This has been a special edition of UMTV News from our entire team. Thank you for watching, and good night.